That's a lot of fun. As the title says, I'm a very nearly 40-year-old guy who decided to take up motorcycling last year at the age of 38. And this video is why I did that, really. You know, why I decided that 38 was my year to get on a 125, get a CBT for the first time in my life, and have a bit of fun poodle around on bikes. A lot of people may think that's a really strange age to do it or anything like that, or full-on midlife crisis, and you know, they might be right. I'm okay with that. I did it because I've always wanted to ride a motorcycle, and I've never had the opportunity through various situational reasons, from university costs through to parents not wanting me to own one when I was living with them, and partners and girlfriends, and just situations like that where they've not been keen on me getting them, and the simplest route to solve that argument was not to get one. And yeah, I am no longer in one of those situations, so I went out and bought myself a motorbike. And the driving factor behind it was the pandemic, and I was bored, like really fucking bored. So I decided to learn how to ride a bike, thinking, it'll be a nice pastime. I did my CBT, got playing around in September 2020. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Got myself a little 125, did my theory test almost immediately. Was booked in to do my mod 1 about 6 weeks later, and then lockdown after lockdown after lockdown after lockdown took me right up until June 2021, which is when I passed my mod 1 and mod 2, and we're now in August. And yeah, I've had a full bike license for all of about 8 weeks, and I've had this bike for all of about 8 weeks actually. I got it the weekend after I passed my test, which was on a Wednesday, so there you go. It was 2 days of riding around on a 125 without any L plates before I was able to get my hands on my own big bike. And I must admit, I absolutely loved the upgrade, but I am very pleased that my situation forced me to spend a bit of time on a 125, because it forced me to learn about carrying a bit of power and stuff like that, and I think it helped in general to my way of riding. Although, you know, I do not profess to be in any way, shape or form a good rider or even a decent rider at this stage. I'm very much a learner. You know, I don't believe that as soon as you pass your test you are an expert in all things motorcycle. I have passed my test, and now I've probably got a good decade of figuring out what I'm doing before I even find the right bike that I fall in love with. Having said that, I do love this bike, and a lot of that is going to be very subjective, down to the fact that it's my first big bike. It's lovely. It's, you know, 90 horsepower, so it's plenty powerful enough for me. It's still more than fast enough to scare the living shit out of me on a fairly regular basis. So when I open it up and my arse slips back on the seat, and I'm holding on to the handlebars, it's an awesome feeling, but it is a scary awesome feeling, and I love that scary awesome thing that can happen. I'm probably going to get a load of stick of, why are you doing like a vlog on, you know, when you've only been riding big bikes for 8 weeks and yada 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 and that sort of thing. And a perfectly valid question actually, and perfectly valid challenge, and I think that's mostly down to the individual. And for me, one of my biggest things is I talk to myself incessantly. So I'm not talking, you know, I'm not doing much more with a camera and a mic on the front of my face than I would be if I was on my own, which sounds weird because I am on my own, but you know, if I didn't have a camera, you know, I'm still doing the same thing if that makes sense. I would still be talking shit, and I would still be, you know, continuously rabbiting on, because that's how I process stuff and that's how my brain works. Should you, at 30, 40, 50, whatever, learn to ride a bike? Yes, without any question whatsoever. I would highly recommend going out and finding something that ticks your boxes. There are what I didn't know before learning how to ride is the number of different types of bikes that there are, and the range of things that you could do. I honestly, because most of the people I knew that rode bikes, they were either Harleys or sports bikes, and I kind of not really, you know, I'm number one, my back's too fucked to even lay down on a sports bike, because to me that's what it feels like. It feels like you're laying on the fuel tank. And I always associate Harleys with dentists for some reason. I don't know why, but I think that was because of a film, like some really crap old film. I can't remember what it's. I think it was Wild Hogs. I think that's what it is, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, so dentists for Harleys and sports bikes are just torture devices, as far as I can tell. So yeah, I went for a pretty much, you know, a standard or a naked bike, which is my CB650R. I tried out a couple of different things. I quite like the look of the ADVs. I love the look of supermotos, and I think that'll be a great thing to play around on. Although, having said that, I have had a go on a friend's GSX-R 1000, and that was brilliant fun, you know, when you're in a position to use the power. Otherwise you just spend your life like in first and second gear, which I found, but that might just be inexperience. I'd only been riding 2 weeks, or riding big bikes 2 weeks at that point. So that was probably my lack of testicular fortitude to really wring that bike out. But you know, I'm okay with that. It was 2 weeks in. And that's something else which makes me really recommend this. So, you know, for my own like personal well-being, it was fantastic. The other thing which really benefits me personally is the whole culture and crowd that goes with it. So I ride, you know, I live in Milton Keynes, which is, you know, roundabout central for the United Kingdom. It's the capital of all roundabouts. Having said that, you know, there are loads of motorcyclists around here, and there's groups and there's meetups and there's groups up in Northampton, sorry. And you know, there is so much going on with the bikes. You know, within 100-mile radius. During the summer, you can essentially go to a bike night 7 nights a week, I'm pretty sure, which is just awesome. And then what I've also found, which is really entertaining, is loads of people I know, like absolutely loads of people I know, ride bikes. But I didn't know they rode bikes until I got a bike, and then like even my window cleaner turned around to me a couple of weeks ago and went, "Oh, you got a bike? Well, now that you've got your big license, why don't we go out for a ride?" I was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't have any idea the dude rode or anything like that. We talked loads, and then he just turned around and went, "Yeah, let's go for a ride," which is cool. Yeah, and that was just a really nice surprise, just finding out how many people ride bikes, and then how many people, you know, there's always those group of people who like talk incessantly about their bikes and stuff like that, and they kind of turn into a bike bore. But I found loads of people who aren't bikers suddenly interested in it, because you know, you were one of them. And now you're not. Now you wear leather jackets and giant shoes that, you know, have bits of plastic all over them and things like that. And you know, people are just genuinely interested. I suppose it's people who, you know, are friends are genuinely interested. I wouldn't expect random people to walk up to you on the street and go, why did you become a motor? Yeah, that's just weird. But yeah, I've the whole kind of, I don't know, camaraderie, or it might be the wrong word, but you know, there is like a community of motorcyclists. That's the word, community. And it's fucking awesome. Like, it's so cool. And then you've got like the nods, which is like the most validated thing ever as a new rider. You know, it's like, I'm a 40-year-old bloke, I shouldn't give any shit, half a shit about any of this stuff. And then you're riding along one day and some dude on, you know, a 20,000-pound super bike, pootling passion, just gives you the little nod, and you're just like, oh yeah, I am one of them. Oh, that's just cool. Oh, fun. Wait. Obviously, I'm a very mature. I keep saying 40. I'm like 40 in 5 months, but I'm a very mature 39-year-old man. So in terms of, you can't park there, mate. In terms of, you know, should you buy a bike at 40 or anything like that, I would say yes, absolutely. I think 100%. If you've got the slightest inclination to learn how to ride a bike, in the UK, go and do your CBT. In the US, go and do your what is it, MSF, I think it is. But yeah, go and get your course under your belt, learn how to ride, or at least try it out and see if it does kind of scratch that itch for you. I'm very fortunate in, you know, this is not my only mode of transport. I don't have to use the bike if I don't want to, although I have found that since buying the bike, my car has done virtually no miles at all unless I need to, you know, take something bigger than what I can put in a backpack. That's now the only time my car gets used, which is really bad because, you know, I've still got finance outstanding on that bloody thing, and at the minute it's just a rotting parked money pit. But yeah, I've found an awful lot of freedom and an awful lot of enjoyment in the time I've had on this bike in particular. But also I did, you know, the better part of a year on a 125 with my, you know, giant L plate sticking out the arse of it, and that was just as enjoyable. And you know, it doesn't matter if it's a 125 or if it's a 1000cc bike, as long as it's a bike that makes a bit of noise and can be a little bit shouty when you want it to be. It's a fun toy. So I have figured out this thing's got a slip assist clutch, so I don't need to rev match, or my version of attempting to rev match, but it is really fun, so I'm going to keep doing it, and I'll probably get shit for that, but I'm okay with it, because as I say, it is really, really fun. And you know, that's that mature 40-year-old man coming out there, isn't it? It's why are you rev matching on a bike that doesn't need it? Because it makes noise. Anyway, that's it. See you later. Here's a question, randomly. Why do they alternate the speed bumps? Why can't they just pick like the little speed bump in the middle or the big speed bump across the road? you know, just do every person's genitals a favour and stop them from being battered, or at least let people prepare to know that they're going to get battered. Well, you know, people can go out and pick to ride that road if that's what turns them on, but you know, some people might like a paddle to the nads, I don't know.